Gotta get up.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to the biggest and best breakfast show in Singapore. We are The Big Show, Glenn, Angel, Daphne, and the Flying Dutchman. And our guest for today is the senior transport correspondent from the Straits Times, Nian Tjoe. Good morning, Nian Tjoe.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Nian Tjoe. We just saw you over the weekend at the car show.
Yes.
How did that go for you?
Well, I'm lucky that I went in pretty early because the crowds really came in the afternoon. By the time I left, the car park was looking a bit packed.
It was really, really crowded.
Yeah.
I mean, I left on Saturday at about 1 p.m. because I had to go host another show.
Yep.
And it was already
Packed out, right?
packed out.
Yeah. It does bring a lot of people down. I mean, did you notice anything interesting about this time, the Car Expo this time around?
I think what was interesting for me was, I was there working, right, officially. So just sussing out, speaking with people who are the companies that are exhibiting. And I think one reality is that, look, everybody wants to sell a car. So it means that the deals were really off the record, they're saying, hey, this is as low as can go at today's cost.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many people have bought cars over the weekend, but I think they probably did pretty well for themselves.
Oh,
I think
nice.
they really needed a car.
I mean, obviously there were luxury brands
Yes.
and other brands as well. And I was looking at the prices. Luxury brands these days because of a COE, it's a little higher.
Yeah.
But for the other brands, they were actually okay in terms of pricing, and I do believe we moved quite a number of units.
That's always good news.
A lot of cool new EV cars.
Yeah.
There were quite a few.
a lot.
There were
Yeah.
quite a few of those.
Quite good
There were
ones.
some sports cars, some luxury cars. And speaking of which, sports cars.
Yeah,
Yes.
pre-owned
Doing
cars as well.
Pre-owned cars as well. But let's talk about the sports car that recently
happened
got
over
into
the
an
weekend as well.
accident in Malaysia. It was a
Yes.
Porsche,
Yep.
Singapore registered,
Oh
in a
my.
convoy.
I think so. That's what we know so far.
Yeah.
So these are like morning drives that can happen with friends, or you can call yourself a club, or what have you. I think the dealers also organize these things.
Yeah.
So it's quite common as a way to get together, do something together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of them drive up to the track as well, right? Don't they? And Sepang track.
Or Pasir Gudang.
Oh, is it Pasir Gudang? Which one is it?
Close, yeah.
Oh, is it
Pasir
close
Gudang.
already?
Close?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Close.
I wish there was some way to bring it back.
So it's Sepang.
Not so much for Sepang, just because Sepang is, I think it's about an hour away from KL already. So
Oh, okay. No,
far.
I'm talking about the Johor one, yeah.
So they tend to go into Johor.
Okay.
A bit higher up, where it goes around the country roads, which are actually really scenic and kind of fun as well. But the fun is within reason. I think the risk always is that when you're in a convoy, just like most of us who've been to the army, you switch off your awareness of the surroundings, because you just
Yeah.
follow the guy in front.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think on that bit is really a area of concern when you're doing it. Let's not jump to conclusions to say that this accident is because of recklessness or anything. It's an accident.
Yeah.
But I think the word of caution here is just when you are driving, especially in a group, right?
Yeah.
You actually take responsibility for yourself and the car behind.
Wait,
Yeah.
these people drive out in groups of different cars.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
a bunch of cars.
It's a convoy, yeah.
It's a convoy.
It happens
know-
all the time.
And if anybody has driven in a convoy, driving,
I have.
Yeah.
it's different from normal driving.
I don't
of
like it.
course. And the first person has such responsibility to pace everybody else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that
That's
person has a...
Awful. I drive like a grandma, so I hate following. Like
So you
someone
wouldn't
says,
be able to be in a
What's wrong with
convoy.
grandmas?
No, for sure.
what
but
sort of
I'm
grandma?
very safe, like a cool grandma.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Are you a slow grandma?
I follow the speed limit, and my friend Justin was making fun of me. He was like, "Are you a grandma?" I'm like, "No. What do you mean? I follow the speed limit." He's like, "Who follows it? Every person that follows the law."
I
I
do.
mean, isn't that?
I do.
I do as well.
Thank
We
you.
all
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So apparently, we all drive like grandparents. Then.
Okay.
Truth in that.
Let's continue this conversation on the Big Show TV. Then we can really say how we feel.
Okay.
Here's Sam Smith. I'm not here to make friends on Kiss 92.
Okay, what is it you wanted to say?
I just want to say that this convoy thing is not for everyone.
It's not, yeah.
So I know
I
it's
was-
not for me, but you need to try it
Okay.
to decide.
Well-
I always feel like in order to decide, you need to try
Try it,
something.
yes.
So in the US, when everyone drove, right? So
Yeah.
if we were going from one like a friend's house to like a venue or a party or whatever, then someone will be like, "Oh, just follow my car." I'm like, "No, please don't do. I don't want to follow."
Yeah, but
your
that's not
car."
really a convoy. That's just
Yeah.
like everybody
Yeah.
going the same
No,
direction.
but that's like 5 cars. What?
Right, yeah,
I mean, okay,
yeah.
I don't know how many cars a convoy is, but if we
50.
are,
Yeah, they do huge.
that's
convoys.
Huge
insane.
convoys,
That's
yeah.
just so dangerous.
So what happened here, Nian Tjoe? Why is this a topic for discussion today?
I think because it's such a common, popular thing. And on one side, I can see the rationale why you want to hang out with maybe people with similar cars or whatever interest there is. And then there's also certain sense of security. There's always this perception you're going to the countryside, you're driving this expensive car, and the cost of cars is world famous, right?
Yeah.
You do feel like I feel a bit vulnerable. So I think there is security in numbers, but at some point it becomes this risk where you cajole each other to go a bit faster, you try to take more and more risks. Even if you're conscious, I'm an experienced hand, I've been doing this for ages, and I really like convoy driving, for example, and you go, yeah, I can do this, and all you need is that little misstep, right? I mean, it could be a wild boar that jumps across
Yeah.
the road. Yeah, how do you
And
get
this
by?
is not the first time cars have gotten into accidents via a convoy,
I
right?
think on and off it, and it's not just Singapore
cars.
going to Malaysia.
Yeah.
Or I mean, it's a common thing. Yeah.
I always worry about convoy drivers, particularly in Malaysia or anyone driving up in Malaysia. We're not used to that kind of open road
Yeah.
and the kind of speeds
Yeah.
that you see people driving at.
Because the
Yeah.
speed limit is what, 110, 130 or something like that?
110.
110, right? On the highway,
And,
yeah.
and that means you're doing 140.
Okay,
Yeah.
so for the people who didn't read this about
Yeah.
this incident, so
Yeah.
what exactly happened? Did anybody die?
No one died. It was a Singaporean couple got injured in a car crash while traveling with a luxury car convoy in Johor, and it's a Porsche. You can see there, but apparently they didn't get injured too badly, so that's good. I think they came off with some. He broke his left hand, sustained
Yeah.
injuries to his hands and his
Yeah.
feet. Wife suffered injuries to her hands and legs as
How
well.
did the Porsche
Get so
get
crushed,
smashed
right?
up like
I
that?
don't know.
Exactly. I don't know. They
have
were
no
traveling
idea.
from Batu Pahat to Mersing.
I have no idea. It looks pretty bad.
It's a smash.
Looks really mangled.
Yeah.
Well, so
So
can I
smash.
ask, like, I mean, I get the like safety in numbers type situation. It sounds very military, to be honest, but.
Yeah.
What is like? Why can't people be like, "Hey, this is the destination. I'll meet
Yeah.
y'all there. If I see you, I'll wave." Like, why can't
Yes.
people do that?
I don't know. I mean,
And looking at that, there's a video as well. I just saw the
Yeah.
video. It's all Porsches.
yes.
Yeah.
So it's a
Yeah.
Porsche.
And it's
Porsche club.
seems-
usually that case, It's like the Porsche club
Yeah,
or
the Ferrari club,
Ferrari
the
club,
Lamborghinis,
or
yeah.
the Mini club.
Yes,
I
yeah.
have words for that, but I don't think I can even say it here.
It's a huge community, so it's a community thing that they do.
Yeah, but if it's a community of Ferraris or Porsches, that's
Yeah.
like, I can't say it on the microphone.
What do you mean?
What?
It's a show-off thing.
Yeah, no, something like that. But never mind, I'll tell you off
No,
air.
actually, it's not, because these guys get together, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Nian Tjoe, they get together because that whole convoy is about the drive, it's about the stops, it's about the communal eating,
Yeah.
it's about various things that happen on the trip.
It's about the car as well. It's the community.
Yeah, it's the community.
A lot of people buy these cars to be a part of that community.
Yeah, and I
You
get
can't
that.
just join the club.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
But also, like, if we're all going from point A to point B, we're going to see each other. Why do we have to stay together? Because that is what I think is dangerous.
I don't think the convoy is the issue. I just think, like you said, any random thing could happen.
Yeah.
A wild boar could pop out even if you're not in a convoy.
Right,
you
and,
know?
I think the point that I thought was the most relevant to it being dangerous is that you are looking ahead and following rather than actually paying attention to
Yeah.
focusing
Everything
on
else around.
driving, which is when you're driving, that should be your primary concern. It's not, am I keeping with the group? It should be, I'm driving, I got to make sure everyone in my car and around my car is safe.
I think
know?
in their defense, I mean, I can't say. I mean, I really like to have a Porsche or a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a
Me too,
and all
yes.
that. But I think that's beside the point. I mean, and I'm not somebody who enjoy convoy driving. Usually, I'm the guy who says, "Hey, you guys run ahead," and then
I'll meet you there.
Yeah, I'll meet you there tomorrow.
Yeah.
But actually, in these convoys, I believe they do have certain measures put in
And rules,
to
right?
take care
Yes,
of one another.
for sure.
Yeah. So even way back when these things were a little bit in an earlier stage, right? We would actually have communications,
Walkie-talkies and stuff like that. Yes, back in the day. Yeah.
I mean this is so far. This is the days when we all had Garmin GPS in the car.
Yeah,
I mean,
TomTom.
those who know- Yes, TomTom. Yeah. So, but back to it is this consciousness of the surroundings, but it's also there's a certain you actually like it or not, you have to be responsible for the guy behind as well.
Of
When you
course,
think about it,
of
because it's
course.
like, I can make this junction, but then if you
Is the
if
guy
you-
going to follow me?
yeah, or worse, I cannot make this junction and I slam the brakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's so many things.
But isn't that normal driving procedure anyway?
No, but you're
Do you know what I
thinking
mean?
about
But the
it's
following
an
I
extra.
get. The following I get.
Yeah.
You know, if you
but
beat
now
the
you
light.
really want to be with the guy in front.
Yeah.
And then the guy behind you also wants to be with you.
Yeah.
So you see there is and traffic always has this accordion effect because we're
Yeah.
all reacting.
Yes.
It takes time. The car takes time to accelerate,
Yeah,
slow
yeah.
down. The same.
Yeah.
You follow a brake light, that's sometimes
Yeah.
I might be going on a highway, but actually it's backed up.
Yes.
And if someone has put their brake lights on too late, that's really bad for me because if I'm going fast,
Yep.
Yeah.
I've
of
been
course.
in situations where I'm like, oh my goodness.
the braking distance and all
So
that.
like
Yeah.
the thought process is already there's so much to think about when you're driving alone, let alone trying to make sure that everyone I just feel like, I don't know, personally that seems
Yeah.
It's
really
not your
Yeah.
thing. It's not-
unnecessarily dangerous.
I've never driven in a convoy, so I couldn't say whether I
my
like it
God.
or not.
I've only ever done it once. I'll never do it again.
I was bored to death.
Because it's slow or.
They paid me to be part of the convoy.
Okay.
That's why I went.
right.
But is
Okay,
it
okay.
slow?
If not-
Is it typically slow?
I
Or
mean,
you
it's
just-
slower than, of course. I mean, if you're driving on your own, but there are just so many things to
Pay
consider.
attention to, yeah.
And it's a whole day thing. Obviously,
Yeah.
Yeah. I hate road trips. Anyway,
I love road trips, but a convoy does not seem enjoyable to me.
okay, going back on it. Stand by.
Kiss 92 traffic.
So we got the usual delays across the expressways. We don't see too many problems ahead of you, so you should be all right. Just stay within the speed limit, please. Make sure you've got everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Kiss 92, all the great songs in one place. You okay?
You okay there?
Frog in my
T?
throat. Frog in my throat.
Our
Let
guest
it
for this
jump out.
morning is Nian Tjoe, senior transport correspondent from the Straits Times.
Yeah.
Morning, Nian Tjoe.
Morning
Good
again.
morning. So we're talking about a couple of things. One was the accident that happened in Malaysia with that luxury car convoy.
Yes.
But let's move on to something that we spoke about last week.
Yes.
The migrant workers who are finding it hard to get back to their dormitories
Yes.
on Sundays. They found a solution.
Yeah, well, a solution found them.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
So basically, I guess after the story is gone, after the story has gone up, right, we actually got a bit of attention on this topic. And now there is actually a bus service that is actually extended to include dormitories in Kranji.
Nice.
Nice.
Amazing.
So,
Nice.
and it's not even, remember that when we were discussing about this, we were talking about, so the workers are willing to pay $2
$2, yeah.
for the one way from the MRT station
Yeah.
to the dorm.
Yeah.
Well, now it's $3 from Little India to the dorm.
Oh, that's
nice.
good.
Okay.
That's
okay.
really good.
It worked out.
Okay, it worked out for everyone.
Yeah, and also, again, kudos to the colleagues who are doing this. They've also gone down to check the situation, whether there's still trucks illegally waiting and trying to pick up these workers. Well, it's not there anymore.
Oh, good.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I think we did some. I like to think we did some good.
Yeah. I
I'm
like-
sure it was because of the article and because of
The big
our
show as well.
conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Fantastic. So good to know that they can now get home safely,
Yeah.
Yes.
humanely as well. You know, they're not like being thrown in the back of trucks.
Back
and
to the
stuff.
dorms, right on time for the Cricket World Cup.
There you go. Yes, yes, yes.
Of course.
Just to catch the last few overs before it came in.
Okay, we're talking to Nian Tjoe. We'll continue to talk to him on the Big Show TV. It's 8:14.
Kiss 92 time check brought to you by Food.
Yeah,
That's so good.
It's good. I'm looking at this article, and one of the construction workers staying at one of the dormitories said, "I just want to say thank you to the authorities for thinking of us. Our dorm is about 4 kilometers from Kranji MRT station, and sometimes the walk back after 8 p.m. is just too long." So that's very cool.
4 kilometers is
Glenn's
so long.
mic.
Yeah, and
4
you're tired,
kilometers.
right?
That takes a while, you know.
And not just
4
that, these guys are hard labor every day, 5 days a week, right?
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
Glenn? Okay, leave his mic off. It sounds good like that, actually.
They're like, wait.
Purchase and
All right.
Okay.
Was he going out?
Were we going out?
I was going out.
amazing.
We
hello.
Oh, just him? Oh, Glenn
he's
was
back,
going
he's
out.
back.
No, his mic was on when they
Did you
talked
say
off
hello,
air.
hello, hello? Of course.
Hello.
You should have just sung a song, yeah.
Oh, I have a very funny story about that actually. I don't know if you guys want to hear it. But
Yes.
you know, there's 2 hellos, right?
Okay.
There's the-
Lionel Richie and Adele.
Right, correct. So I was lining up for this very exclusive club in LA, and the wait was like 2 hours. Okay, and we were already drunk. Me and my girlfriends were already drunk. We're standing outside. Then we see a band coming, and they come in through like a doorway that's in the middle of the line. So I see it, and I'm like, I'm a musician. I'll sing on stage. You know, like thinking I'm still in Singapore. People know who I am. So I was like, I'll sing. You know, and then the bouncer, he already could tell that I was like slurring my words already and everything. He could tell. He was like, all right, girl, you want to come in? You can sing Adele's Hello. And then the minute I opened my mouth, I knew I messed up because I started singing Lionel Richie's Hello. And he was like, girl, you drunk, go home.
Oh, no.
Go home.
It didn't get you in.
It did not get me in at all.
Oh, what a waste of chance.
Yeah.
It's so funny because Lionel Richie is before your time.
Yeah.
No
right.
lah. I watched him live in Vegas.
No. Vegas?
In Vegas,
But
yeah.
not at his peak.
no,
because Lionel Richie was
it was late. Yeah,
what,
much later.
70s?
Isn't he a judge now?
On
one of those
American
shows?
Idol, I
American
think he
Idol,
was
one of the
for
shows.
2 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
he still is.
He still looks so young too.
Yeah, it's plastic surgery.
Oh, okay. I
had
mean,
help.
works for him.
Yeah, he's had help.
So, sorry. Okay, cars.
Bus.
Wait,
Trucks.
so
Buses and
Bus,
trucks.
bus.
we were talking this morning about EV cars, and Angel
Oh,
was giving
Stockholm.
that suggestion. Yeah,
Yeah.
about possibly blocking off some roads to full diesel cars. Do you think that's like
Fully electric.
So Stockholm is going to bring into law that only EVs are allowed to go into the city, like a 20
Yeah.
block radius. And diesel and petrol obviously not allowed. But if you're an EV, police, emergency vehicle and all that, you
Yep.
can. You think that would work in certain parts of Singapore here?
I think firstly it's a question of how many EVs,
EVs
we
there
have.
are, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a similar thing in London as well.
Yeah, in London as well, yes.
So you
yeah.
actually otherwise you just have different levels of penalties.
Correct. 'Cause
Emissions
now I think
which you have to
yeah.
pay for,
we
yeah.
probably only have 10,000 EVs on
What
the
are
road.
our
I
numbers
think
now?
it's like 9,000 something.
There you go.
It's
Okay.
in
Is
single
that
percentage
all?
point.
That's all.
Still very low.
But
Out
that's
of the
why-
1 million.
Yeah, but that's why
600,000.
there's no
600,000.
chargers or
Yeah.
not enough because there's not enough demand.
Well, I think we're also getting a little bit ahead of ourselves with this. If you look at Norway, for example, it's not just about blocking out the city to vehicles with emissions. You get priority access on bus lanes, tram lines, and
For
the channels.
EVs?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Did you know that, Glenn?
No.
No.
You can drive. You can for once drive in the bus lane.
During bus lane hours. But I think it's also quite interesting in at least from the way the policies are drawn, is that it was very clear that if the population of EVs hit a certain number, from now to that number, these are the incentives. When we hit that number, we're going to cut down. We start cranking it down.
Okay,
So,
that makes sense.
Everybody gets a clearer picture. I think
Yeah.
in my work reporting about transport and specifically with on dealer sites and importers, they go like, hey, we don't know where the incentives are going, man. We don't know how many we can sell. We don't know the market size. So
Yeah.
It's very difficult for them to calibrate themselves to say, do I go all in now? Or should I hold back a little bit because there might be a bit more coming? Or
Right.
it's less than you expect and I've got extra. Yeah.
So you said we have 10,000 EVs out of 600,000 cars.
I roughly remember
Around
it's about
that.
that kind of number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's very,
It's
very
not a
low.
lot right
It's
now.
very, very
And we're
low.
going to have 60,000 chargers.
Charging points.
Charging
yes.
points.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think also the composition, because if ultimately if what we want to we all hope to achieve is lower emissions, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Is to change the cars, the vehicles, trucks, buses, and all that's the most heavily used,
Yeah.
or the filthiest ones now.
Yeah.
To
Change
go
that first, yeah.
That will have the bigger impact than if you to be very very careless or candid about it, is that this expensive limousine that is
Yeah.
clocking very little mileage
Yeah.
to switch. I mean,
So-
that's well and
But
good.
there are a lot of buses that are already electric, right? Quite a few.
There are a handful, I believe it's 60 now.
60, the
But
green
they're-
ones,
yes,
right?
No, not the
Oh.
green. They're green colored.
The green
Yeah.
colored ones,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But they're not
green coloured.
EVs.
No, some are diesel hybrids. And
Oh,
some are
right,
just,
they're
yeah.
hybrids. Okay, they're not 100%.
But there is the tender has already gone out, and I think they're in the process of evaluating putting up. I believe it's was it 400 buses?
Okay.
But
So
Full electric.
yes,
yeah,
Nice.
but I think Nian Tjoe is right. These cars that people are buying that are going electric, your mileage is so small, or
To make an
so little,
impact.
it doesn't make an impact.
But it does, every drop makes an impact.
Yeah.
But if
Every-
but if they started with the commercial
I
stuff,
agree with
that's
that, yes.
so much better.
I agree with that, yeah.
It's
So
the
much-
charging time as well.
Yeah.
The bigger
You know,
vehicles would be a long time
that
as well
is
to charge, wouldn't
Correct.
they?
I mean, unlike going to a petrol station
Yeah.
and you top up straight away, charging takes time.
What about things like construction vehicles and stuff like that? It hasn't gone that far
there
to be
is a
electric.
move. I mean, there
Okay.
are companies, there are brands out there that have started introducing these. But there's also concerns. Actually, there's something else that came up recently. I was at the official groundbreaking ceremony for
What was that?
breaking
drum.
there's,
The
usually, there's usually breaking of sake.
Yeah, okay. Yes,
Yeah,
it's a
some
Japanese
entity
Very
company.
comes,
nice.
so
Yeah.
bam, and then it all happens.
Yeah.
So one of the things that they look at, and I think this is something that we can all say this is a good idea, is the construction equipment where they switch to electric. And it's not just about emissions, but noise.
Wow.
Yeah, noise pollution.
And it's that was really quite a well thought through process as well, as that they're not having excavators that are electric, but the charging, instead of running a diesel generator, which is laughingly ironic, they have essentially a battery pack.
Yeah.
So what you do, you store up. It's called it's a battery pack that goes into charging this equipment during their breaks. It takes about 2 hours or so.
Okay.
but-
Oh, okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, because one of the concerns coming back to are there construction equipment that are electrified is the problem of, some of these places, not all these places have ready access that you can just
Sources.
wheel a charger in.
Yeah.
Right? And you're not going to bring multi-ton equipment out just to
Yeah.
get it charged and put it back.
Yeah.
So all these things you have to think about that in
The whole
this-
infrastructure.
in this realm is pretty tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, construction, that would be awesome because, like my place, there are 3 condos being built.
Whoa.
So you can imagine the noise all day. If that could be brought down, that
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and I think this actually would need a bit of push, a bit of gumption from the policymakers. Say,
yeah.
hey, everybody, if you have X number of equipment, bring it down to this. I think it will really make a difference.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a great idea.
Wow, big headaches, man, for the future.
Oh yeah, trying to
For
go
the
green.
Seriously.
policymakers as
Yeah.
well.
It's
yeah.
very hard.
It's hard, yeah.
Hey, which is why I think we should get Grace Fu to come in
But baby
one of these
steps.
days.
Yeah,
I mean, you
sure.
met her at the Herbal
I
event
did very
over the
briefly.
weekend.
Yeah,
But yeah, she's got a huge task, man.
she does. Yeah.
Very true.
Okay, stand by.
Kiss 92 traffic.
So we've got delays across the expressways. Look out for the KJE towards the BKE. A vehicle broken down after Chua Chu Kang Way exit. KJE towards the BKE. Sorry, same one. They put it up twice. SLE towards the CTE. Vehicle broken down before the TPE. AYE towards Tuas. An accident after Penjuru Road exit. Congestion is to Clementi Avenue 6. Please stay within the speed limit. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Good morning, Singapore. We've been talking to senior transport correspondent from the Straits Times, Nian Tjoe, about 2 things mainly. About that sports car that got into a serious accident in Malaysia, part of a convoy. And, of course, our workers getting their transport to the dormitories in Kranji because of our discussion
Last week. Yeah.
So,
We've moved on to EVs.
And then
and
we
we've moved on to EVs. But I just want to say, this whole convoy thing, moving back to the whole convoy thing, should convoys then be regulated a little bit better? Or maybe banned?
I don't think they're actually allowed.
What, to be
What do
in
you
a
mean,
convoy?
convoys?
Yeah.
They
In
do-
Malaysia?
but they do them here as well. I've seen convoys here
No,
as well on
apparently-
the roads.
So I looked it up. Apparently, for like funerals and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's allowed.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about funeral convoys. I'm
Oh, but
talking
other
about
than that, it's
sports
supposedly
cars.
not
It's
supposedly
not
not
allowed.
allowed.
Yeah.
So in Singapore as well, convoys are not allowed.
Yes, you need,
FD
you need to
looks-
apply for permission.
So what
Yeah.
constitutes a convoy?
Yeah, that depends.
You know,
my
can someone
goodness.
just say we all just randomly happen to be in the same place, going to the same place?
Which is
You know?
absolutely possible.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if
Just
any.
18 Porsche is not,
It's a
did not
coincidence.
planned.
It's a coincidence, yeah.
Fancy seeing you
Because
here.
I've seen them going through Orchard Road and doing this whole drive, your Lamborghinis, your Ferraris, and all that.
Hey,
Motorbikes
don't
as
name
well.
shame them.
Oh, sorry. Your supercars that are super low and brightly colored. But I've seen them going around.
Yes.
And I did not know that it was illegal.
Yeah,
Motorbikes do it as well.
Yes, I was it one of the at Geylang Serai. I remember they got in trouble. It was actually reported.
Yes.
Remember a bunch of
which
there
ones?
were motorcycles as well as
He won't name and
commercial
shame.
vehicles. There were vans.
Commercial vehicles.
Yeah.
Oh, vans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think rules aside, right, is that you have to recognize that people do what they want to do. Right?
Yeah.
And just do it safely. That's all.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, well, it's been nice speaking to you, Nian Tjoe. Thank you so much for coming in a little earlier. Next week, we'll
Pleasure.
see you at 8 a.m. as well.
Okay.
All right. All right, coming up very soon, we have tickets to the Yuna concert happening at the Capitol Theatre in just a while. Keep it right here.